Welcome back to TitTok, the most titillating podcast you've ever heard. I'm here today with my special guest, Ozzy from Survivor.
What's up, everybody?
Say hi to the folks.
So which folks?
I don't know. The imaginary folks that are watching right now.
I'm staring at right now?
Oh, well, these are the girls.
The girls, yeah.
You can say hi to the girls, though.
Hey, ladies. How's it going?
Hey, Ozzy. So I'm so excited that you agreed to be on my podcast because I think you're really interesting. And so let's just jump right in, really.
Jump right in.
Okay. So everybody knows you because you were on Survivor.
Yep.
Like a bunch of times.
Yeah, 4 times.
4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And why'd you ever want to be on Survivor?
I don't know, just a sick childhood fantasy, wanting to be stranded on a deserted island.
Okay.
That was one, I don't know, for whatever reason.
Really?
I think the first book I ever read, Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know, I just was like, yeah, that sounds fun, you know, like.
That's awesome.
It might have been Blue Lagoon that did it to me.
Oh, that movie, right.
She was getting sexy.
I know.
I think she was like 16 or
I know, it was very risque.
Yeah, so maybe I fell in love with that ideal. Just wanted to run around naked with
I think it's great.
desert island with a beautiful woman. Maybe that was it.
I feel like we're already pitching another show. Like, maybe Survivor should do a spin-off where it's just like, who can survive with all these beautiful women on an island?
That sounds like, I don't know if I would make it. I don't think I would. Definitely wouldn't survive that.
So island sex.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
You didn't have sex on the island?
I never did.
Really?
I never did. No.
Well, that's interesting.
All the times that I've played, like, I never even masturbated while I was playing.
Really? Well, I guess I can understand that because there's a lack of privacy, but I'm thinking about the fantasy and being like, I'm stuck on this island, I'm fucking horny, and there's women.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with that is that anybody that couples up becomes an immediate target, and people want to get you out of there quickly. So
That's a fair point. You're all about the strategy.
not really. I just the second time I played, I did have like a little bit of a showmance, and it got me kicked out. So
Got it.
So yeah, that's the thing. You just have to be willing to, if that's all you're into, you don't want to win the $1 million, like.
Yep.
Or you have a really great relationship with one person who happens to be a woman. If you fall in her, whatever. You might have a showmance, but if you can take that to the end, it could be really powerful, but it's really hard to do.
That makes sense. I like you're calling it a showmance, too. It's lives and dies within that certain time period.
It kind of does, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been a while since you've been on the last one that you were on, right?
Yeah.
A couple years.
Like maybe 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Do you think you'd do it again?
I definitely would do it again if they asked me.
Okay.
For sure.
Do you have any interest in other reality TV? Or you're like, no, Survivor's my thing. I'm good. I got other life goals now.
I don't know. I mean, I think the most interesting parts about me on Survivor are things that wouldn't translate to other reality shows. So I don't really know. I mean, I can climb a coconut tree and spearfish. I'm good at challenges. And,
That's funny.
That's like what people like about me on Survivor. So doing another reality show, I'd have to I don't know, have a personality, I guess.
You're saying it like you don't have a personality. So, when did you start your OnlyFans?
I started my OnlyFans a little more than a year ago.
Okay, me too.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know, a response to so many different things. I think we've talked about this a little bit. Like, I worked in the restaurant biz for 20 years. I did reality TV a couple times, So I had other experiences. I just have always enjoyed working in restaurants for some reason. Maybe it's a
culture
my
in itself.
Masochistic part of my personality. But, when COVID happened, I had some realizations, and part of that was just working for somebody else, promote somebody else's dream, and at the end of the day, being left with really nothing to show for it. Is not really a way that I wanted to live anymore. And I don't know. I think that capitalism has a way of exploiting, people and classes, and I was one of the classes that got exploited for most of my life. And I just realized that if anyone's going to exploit me, I'm going to be the person to do it.
I like that perspective.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like a terrible waitress. I was like the worst at working in restaurants. I'm like, I don't have this skill set at all.
Well, you got another kind of set. So.
Right, I do. And, I would say using my natural assets is starting to pay off in a way I never expected. That's for sure.
Did you find a lot of like creepy customers that would just come because they were like too cheap to go to a strip club or too cheap to like to see something this beautiful in real life, that they would come to, even if you're a horrible waitress,
right? Like, you've got big titties. Well, I mean, they've always kind of been there, right? Now they're just more forward, more titty forward with my life, and it's been an interesting change. Being like trying to cover them up, like in my previous life and in my career, to be like, now I'm like, nope, this is it, guys. This is the career.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a mindset shift too. But I totally relate. I don't want to go back to corporate life. I, did that for a long time, and it doesn't always pay off. And I did the whole go to college and get my degrees and work hard and all that. And now here I am in the middle of my midlife crisis. So giving this a try. But I also, so I haven't seen your OnlyFans, but I have seen your Twitter.
Okay.
You have a very naughty Twitter.
Tell me, what have you seen that's so naughty?
Well,
I forget what I post, so we'll see.
So, I saw some videos of you and people in a shower or a bathroom, and they're maybe a little cross-dressing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Definitely. Well, I was in New Orleans.
Okay.
And never been to New Orleans before.
Okay.
And went and visited. I was with my my lady friend, my girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, she does OnlyFans as well. So we have an open relationship. We support each other in that. And we went to New Orleans to go visit some friends of hers who are burlesque performers.
Okay.
And it was like, felt like the right time to do a little cross-dressing and go out and have a good night.
All right. It looked like it was a good night. I was like, oh, I have questions now. Yeah. So had you ever done that before?
No, not really.
Okay.
That was sort of that's kind of the first time I've cross-dressed or taken a shower with a couple boys.
Okay.
It was fun.
How do you identify? What's your, are you straight? Are you bi? Are you curious? Are you...
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say 100% straight, and I wouldn't say that I'm, gay. I wouldn't really say I'm necessarily bi. I don't know. I don't really I just don't really think, for me, that the categories make that much sense. We just sort of kind of, depending on the person, depending on the energy, depending on the situations of people, I've been working really hard the last year or so, even longer, to kind of disrupt the categories, the boxes that society's kind of forced me to place my sexuality in for my entire life.
I can get that. That makes a lot of sense, and I agree. It's, we have all these labels, but it doesn't mean that one label always applies to you.
Yeah. I think that they're, like everything, it's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fall at one end of the spectrum or the other. I'm just sort of kind of in the middle and curious about experiences and not wanting to close myself off to things that I've been told for my whole life that you should be closed off to because this is normal. You're a straight man. You have sex with women and you're attracted to women and that's it.
Right.
You're not really allowed to feel anything else. Otherwise, you're a deviant or you're considered to be, whatever it is.
I kind of like being a deviant.
I love it. I love being a misfit. I love not fitting into the categories, and I think that it's way more interesting way to live than
absolutely. I definitely feel like I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to be in your prime. I'm like, okay, I just needed to start an OnlyFans and, doing what I love, literally. So So it's definitely a fascinating life change, but I understand where you're coming from, and I think it's so interesting because I just think human sexuality in general is interesting.
Yeah.
And, obviously doing this type of work, you get introduced to like new things. You're like, I didn't know that existed, or I didn't know I liked that. So in doing this type of stuff, like, what have you learned? What have you discovered about yourself? Kink-wise and fetish-wise.
Well, I think that some of the most simple things, like before even doing OnlyFans, I've never really been in a situation where I've like talked dirty to somebody or like been a little like let myself be a little more. I've been dominant in sexual situations, but like adding a verbal component to it has. I just have never practiced that, and so recently, like practicing that and like enjoying that and like kind of like liking that play between that's been kind of fun. That's been an interesting enlightenment. I
feel the same way because I never thought I'd play into like a stepmommy kind of thing, but that's what my fans asked for a lot, and I was like, all right, I'll be your mommy.
Yeah.
But then some of them want dom mommy. They want mistress mommy. And then the things I find myself saying, I'm like, hey, where did that come from?
Totally.
And it's interesting. I'm like, because I don't do that in my personal life. That's not what I do. But then I find myself really getting into this character, honestly, and calling my fans a filthy little slut because that's what they want.
Yeah.
So I totally relate. I was like, I never thought I was dominant. I always thought, oh no, I'm the one who likes to be dominated, and the daddy stuff and all of that. And then I was like, oh, but this is interesting too. Sure, like let's go down this road. So I can totally understand that. Yeah,
it's kind of like what I imagine if you were to get into improv and you have to like practice that skill, that muscle, that ability to just sort of like go with the first thing that's sort of popping in your head, and you don't even know sometimes what you're going to say. It's just going to you got to let loose.
Absolutely has happened. And now I'm like, oh no, I've got this. I've got the whole formula down, and like the sequence of like, all right, this is how we're going to build up the anticipation, and this is what you guys want. So yeah, I get that. It's I've definitely done things I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
So like, what is one experience you've had, like on camera that you're like, all right, I've never done this before, but I'll give this a try. And not, like on camera doing OnlyFans.
Not on camera doing OnlyFans?
I mean, that's what I mean. On camera doing OnlyFans, not like when you were on TV.
Well, okay, so I had an experience where somebody who also has an OnlyFans reached out, and they're just a fan of mine.
Oh, okay.
From Survivor. And
do you get that a lot?
I mean, when I start... So, it's funny. I'll back up just a little bit really quick, because... Something happened to me this recently. I was like going through my spam folder and my emails, and I had this person who's like, "We found your password, and we caught you on a porn website, and this is what we did. We did this thing where we set up we basically hacked into your computer and like filmed you jerking off, and like if you don't pay us $10,000, whatever, we're going to release the video to everybody." And I was like, suckers.
Yep.
Go ahead. You don't know how many people fucking have seen me jerking off at this point. So it was just really hilarious that I had this scammer trying to scam me. Like, obviously knows nothing about.
Yeah, they didn't do their research.
Didn't do the research. Wrong person, for example. But I'm like, through Survivor, so much of that has happened to me where like fans like catfish me or like whatever, try to get me to send pictures of my dick or like jerking off, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that with some fans, girl who I thought were women, and I think they were, and like we FaceTime, whatever. But there's always that like fear that, oh my God, someone's gonna film me and gonna expose me to the world, and oh my God, I don't want that to happen. And at a certain point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking beat everybody to it, and like, I don't care if somebody films me jerking off, like unbeknownst to myself. Like, I'm not gonna pay you. Like, go, like, I make money off of this. Whatever, you can sell. I might be able to sell it to somebody for $5.
If anything, you having like a revenge porn scandal situation, I feel like it'd be great PR for you.
Yeah,
like it's only gonna help you.
So like, I don't know. I think a lot of guys that are not in porn, not in like, haven't gotten, maybe they have a little bit of fame or good looking guys or whatever. A lot of them are spending a lot of time on Instagram or Twitter or wherever, like trying to hook up with chicks, trying to sex, like
all the
sending
time.
photos back and forth. And it's like, you know what? I've done that before, and it's like, might as well just make a career out of it. Because
That's kind of how I felt.
Then it's just like, at this point, there's nothing to hide. Like, someone's trying to scam me, fuck you. I'm going to like scam you right back.
Yep.
And anyways, to go back to, I'm not sure why I tangentially was coming back to the point where I had this fan reach out, and she's like, I really want to fuck you. I was like, okay, that sounds really fun. Like, you seem kind of cute. Like, we'll see if this person actually shows up.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas. We met up in Vegas and met each other and did the whole she wore a mask because she didn't want to like necessarily reveal her identity, but she really wanted to fuck me, and like.
Was it good?
It was great.
Oh, good. Okay. Because I could have gone bad.
Could have gone bad. It could have gone bad, but it was like, I don't know. I thought it was super hot, and she thought it was super hot, and it was
That's
like,
awesome.